Is fasting beneficial? This was a question that I had a few times this week in the office, so I just thought I'd make a video and explain my take on it. The short answer is fasting is incredibly beneficial. Name a condition, any condition, autoimmune, heart disease, obesity, PCOS, hormonal problems, just about any, I can't even think of any condition right now that hasn't shown fasting to be beneficial. So yes, I absolutely recommend intermittent fasting. And I'm meaning by intermittent fasting, a 18 to 24 hour period without eating. Going longer than 24 hours does have some benefits, but it's too difficult and you're really not squeaking out a whole lot more benefit for the effort put forth. So really talking about 18 to 24 hours without eating. Super, super beneficial. But here's the problem. Most people can't do it. They can't do it at all. They have such wonky blood sugars that it's impossible. If they go longer than 3, 4, 5 hours without eating, and they have to snack, they have to graze, but they get grouchy, they get headachy, they get insufferable. Like they just start looking for chocolate, they start looking for caffeine, they are irritable, angry, like they just fall apart. So here's this thing that is so beneficial for everybody who should be doing it. And 90% of everybody in my practice can't do it at all because they have such unstable, wonky blood sugars. They're pre-diabetic, high insulin, hypoglycemic, like there's a whole mechanism at play. When they start going without food, their body cannot adapt to burning fat stores as another fuel source. So they just hit a wall. Their body essentially thinks that they're starving, even though they're carrying around months worth of calories on their butt and their stomach and everywhere else. So they're carrying around these fuel tanks, but they have no access to the fuel, so they have to keep eating all the time. So they can't go 18 to 24 hours without eating because it's just too difficult and it's not fun and there's so much suffering. So there's this just too big a gap between intermittent fasting, which would be a fantastic idea, and they simply can't hang on. So here's the pro tip for this week. Get into ketosis first. So ketosis, you can Google it for right now. I'll make another video later, but just ketosis, really, you're going to drop your carbs down to under 20 grams a day total, and you're going to start eating more fat. Simply put, but you're going to get in ketosis, and this is going to take a couple weeks to actually do. You're not getting into ketosis in 2 or 3 days. You have to consistently eat that certain style, but what you'll notice is your appetite goes away. Like magically, you're just not even hungry. And then when you're not hungry all the time, you can start to open that eating window, or close that eating window, open that not eating window by an hour or two every few days. But it will be easy to do, super easy to do, because you have no appetite. And then we can start to open up that non-eating window, that fasting window, simply, and not fall apart. Because what your body needs to learn how to do is how to burn the butt is the problem. You gotta be able to get into that fuel source, which most people simply can't do. But a couple weeks into ketosis, 2 weeks, maybe a little longer depending on who you are and what you got going on, but it's gonna take a little time, but then your body can start to burn fat. You start burning fat, you don't have to eat because you're carrying around your food with you. So there's the pro tip. Get into ketosis first. Then you can start closing down that eating window over some period of time. One other little part of that pro tip is eat breakfast. People who intermittent fast like to skip breakfast because it's easier to skip, because you can ride on caffeine and cortisol till noon, 1, 2, 3 o'clock. So it's easier. It's actually not the healthiest way to do it. Still good. It's better than nothing. But what would be even better is to eat breakfast and skip dinner. So that is a little harder, but it's a goal to work for, is not skipping breakfast. So that's the deal. Get to intermittent fasting. Absolutely great. So it's an 18 to 24 hour period with no food. Super healthy. But how you get there is get into ketosis first. And we'll talk about that more in another video, how to do that, or Google it in the meantime. Get into ketosis, then intermittent fasting. Super easy. Super easy. So yes, do it. That's my answer. Thanks.